Hello YouTube, I am Armoury Reviews 1, and today I don't have a Transformers review. I thought to mix up having enough videos for you to not wonder if I'm dead, and for me to still have some toys to review, and to talk about things without trying to ramble as much in my reviews. I would instead do approximately, this isn't a set in stone, but like one review a week and one other video. So whether it be like last week I posted I was playing my guitar a bit. Let's see, there it is. Or like I have a few ideas for things to just talk about that I would like to express my opinion on, and maybe get some probably more informed opinions on than mine. So today I wanted to start off with something that I never really get to talk about, and surprisingly enough I never hear other people talking about it. Probably because when most people talk about this topic, you know, they talk about over time, you never hear it all in one, and it's sometimes quite hard when you're watching a reviewer to think, you know, has he seen this version? Has he done this? Read that? Played that? So I thought I'd put it all in one video for you, and so I can just talk about it for like 20 minutes, probably like 15 now. My experience with the Transformers franchise, and it's that last word that is the important part, as well as, you know, all the others. So that is through things like comic books, the movies, the games, the cartoons. Is there any other type of media? Novels. I think there might be novels. Those spinny things you find in Victorian museums. Old 1920s flicks. What else is there? Campfire stories, that sort of thing about Transformers. So yeah, I'd like to start off with the things that I'm not too into, because I get to less detail, and then move into things that I'm really into and I can expand upon. So we'll start off with one that I don't think any of you will get. The movies. I don't like them. This is me explaining why I don't like them. Anyway, that isn't including the 84 movie, or 86 movie. I'm including that with the cartoons, even though it is a movie. Just to make it clearer. Yeah, I liked the redesign of some of the characters, didn't like the redesigns of others. I didn't like the sort of shuffle about, or the mixing up of the personalities. Like, Bumblebee is a really interesting character, but he isn't when you take away his voice box. At least in Prime, which I'll get onto later, no, Raph can talk to him. So he does act as a bridge between the humans and the Autobots, much like he is completely in Spotlight Bumblebee. Which again, I'll get into later. Yeah, I didn't like that. Mostly Bumblebee. I didn't like Bumblebee's changes. Although I do like their version of Optimus Prime, and I'm a bit iffy on the last version of Megatron. Don't mind it. It's nice to see Megatron as a truck, although he's more imposing and seems to be fit better if he can fly or is a gun. Like jets work, like he's a stealth jet now, I think. That fits. Anyway, sort of rambling. Well, this is kind of what the whole video is about. The next thing I want to talk about is the games. And although I love them, so I'll see you later, there aren't that many, so can't really spend too much long on them. I've played War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron. I haven't played the Armada game, although I will, because apparently it is quite decent. I've played the Transformers 1 game, you know, the movie, the game thing, and I haven't played the Japanese Generation 1 game that came out. Apparently it was awful anyway. So we'll get on to the ones I don't like first. The Transformers, the movie games, were so bad. There's no story in them at all. It's literally, go to this place, kill some Decepticons, go to the next place, kill Decepticons. Or if you're Decepticons, it's go to this place, kill some humans. Then mix it up by go to this place and kill some Autobots. It's really boring. And there's no point in transforming. Yeah, it isn't a good review, so I won't get into it too much. So there's the 4 Cybertron games. Morph Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron. I really love them. They are amazing. I think they're set in the Prime universe, but I kind of take it as their own. I just imagine it as, this is, you know, something that might have happened on Cybertron. I think of it as, you know, this parts of this could well have been in G1, the comic books, the IDW, what's the new one? The IDW is the new one, Dreamwave, the old one. You know, Beast Wars even though Beast Wars is part of G1. You know, you can assume that although there are some conflictions between having that and in some universes, it could be any of them, and I like that. It's its own one and its own possibility about the story we don't see much. I'll also add that apart from the brilliant storytelling and the amazing cutscenes, and the fact that sometimes it mixes up between a cutscene of just watching a movie and things happening while you're running around, like Metroplex, the background. The gameplay is really fun. They are, even if you hate Transformers, which I'm hoping none of you do on this channel, because if you do, you need to do something else, because that's wasting your day. I mean, I'm sure there's cat videos on the internet somewhere. We'll probably have to search for a bit, but you know. Yeah, even if you don't like Transformers, they are very good third-person shooters. There's no cover system, except for having to switch which hand your gun is in, so you can peek around corners, but which is good because cover systems make the game way too easy. And easy mode is easy enough to breeze through it, to get to each cutscene fast enough so you don't forget what happened in the last one. And hard is ridiculous. Or the hardest difficulty is so hard, which is good if you like that. Although War for Cybertron doesn't have a very satisfying end, unless you like that sort of ending, which I do. So yeah, they're really good storytelling, really good gameplay, awesome graphics, also really good multiplayer. I don't doubt many of you are too into games anyway. Well, actually I imagine a few of you are, but I know one of you isn't. Yeah, they're good. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the comic books. Now, I haven't read too many. I think I used to pick up some Transformers magazine, not a proper comic book, that would just have some Transformers comic strips in. But I can't remember, I just think I've picked up some in the past. But your proper comic books, I'm just going to go through my tablet here because I can't remember the exact ones I've read. Not Batman. Okay, so I have read the hell? Talking back to Batman. I've read All Hail Megatron. That was really good. Stop going back to Batman. This is a really bad tablet. I've read All Hail Megatron. It was really good. And I really did like how they split up the story, so you had, you know, much like the old cartoon actually, Autobots, Decepticons, and then a meat. Not like a steak, like a meeting. And it was really interesting to see both sides, and it was interesting to see what the movies tried to do, but done with the G1 characters, and done with so much more care and enough action to justify, or enough action to keep you interested and excited, but it was there to create problems, which is how action should always be. It should always be there to either create a problem, or solve a problem, or try to solve a problem. You know, it's my opinion. And it did it really well. It was really good balance, really nice artwork. Who was the artist in? I have a feeling it was Nick Roche. I'm still not really good with my comic book names, and God, this messes up my whites. This thing is stupid. Come on. Let me look at all Megatron issue 1. Not Batman. What is he doing? Not Batman. Or her Megatron. Try issue 12, because... Come on. Well, while I'm doing this, yeah, I'm not too big, or not too, in the know of all of the, artists and writers, but this was really good and it was really nice. Also got me to know Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. I really like their relationship. And also Cup. The Cup's amazing. Also, that is probably my favourite piece of Transformers artwork I've ever seen, which is Megatron ripping the Matrix out of Optimus's chest. From issue 12. So yes, I've read all of Megatron, I loved that. I really want a physical copy. I like physical copies. The only reason I'm reading on this is just because it's cheaper generally, and it's easier to get hold of things and no delivery or anything. I have read Last Stand of the Wreckers, which I loved. I did find it a bit hard to follow sometimes, just because of the sheer amount of characters, and it's probably just me not being really up to date with Transformers comic books, and also because things like, it's hard to tell setting sometimes, because a lot of it looks the same, and you know it has to, because Cybertron is a metal planet. You can't really get around that. They're looking different from each other, and also, you know, most of the time on Cybertron they're just in Icon, so even that's going to be the same. When they're on other planets, it's quite hard to tell sometimes. As well as the fact that, like Batman, which is another thing I like to try to read, and Judge Dredd especially, they take things really slowly, and the ones in these don't, and that's not a bad thing, it's just a thing that I'm not used to. Probably a second read of Last Stand of the Wreckers would sort that. But it was really good. I'm now so excited for my pre-order of Generation Springer because of this. But yes. I've read some of the spotlights. I will read them out to you. I've read Orion Pax, Thundercracker, Megatron, and the 4 Bumblebee spotlights. I loved all of them. Orion Pax, not much happened really. It was good to see Orion Pax, and I love the design of him, and you know, we see Optimus Prime before he's Optimus Prime, before he's a Prime, you know, before he's the most important thing in their world, before any of this happens, and part of the reason maybe why it does. We also see Alpha Trion, who's quite a mysterious character. I think in Generation 1 Season 2 there's a part about him, but I haven't got to it yet. Thundercracker was really, really good. I really enjoyed Thundercracker. So much so that I found the bot shot like this. Yeah, I always assumed that the Seekers were... Starscream was the important one. And the others were a bit like the Sweeps, where they just sort of followed him. So I think the Sweeps don't really, they don't have names, apart from Scourge, and... yeah, I thought they were like that, but I was so wrong. Thundercracker is quite a complicated character, who I haven't got my head around him yet. He is a really weird and sort of humble character who is quite honourable, and he doesn't want Megatron to have this massive power of, it's either Metroplex or Fort Max, I can't remember, but he still wants to win. But he doesn't want to win really unfairly, and he doesn't want to put the Autobots in a ridiculous amount of pain. He's not a bad person by the looks of it, or a bad bot. He's misguided, maybe. If maybe when he was training he had different ideals sort of put into him, he would... or different morals, in fact. If his morals were different, his ideals would fit them so well. But he goes against orders from Bludgeon, I think it is, just to stop him from getting them. And also he doesn't kill Bumblebee and all of that when he had the chance, and I really like that. I really like his design more than I like Starscream's. Megatron, Spotlight Megatron. It was amazing. This was truly a good comic book. It wasn't hard to follow. Well, it was a while since I've read it, so I can't remember everything about it. And although I don't know why he had to be reformatted, I don't know where this follows on from. I don't know which continuity this is even in. I know it's IDW, but I haven't read More Than Meets the Eye. I haven't read Robots in Disguise. I don't know if it's from any of those, or if it's from like Autocracy, whatever that is. I haven't read that, or Infestation, whatever that is. I've heard of it, the name, and I don't know what any of these are, but it could follow on from any one of those. But in and itself, it was a good book and a good read. His reformatting into a stealth bomber fits so well, and I'd never thought of it before. He's now massive and imposing, but also sneaky and sort of he can infiltrate. That is a good leader trait to have. It's a mode that fits his sort of cunningness. And also he looks, when he's in robot mode, because of the fact that he's a stealth bomber, all of his arms and legs and things are really sharp, which makes him look even more opposing, and also the purple lines running through him. It's really good, and also shows his relationship, if I want to put it that way, with Starscream in a really, really nasty light. And lastly, Bumblebee, which was a thing of beauty. It was outstanding. It showed Bumblebee rise from having to be partly just a soldier, like a messenger, scout, just a runner for the Autobots, or sometimes an assistant to Optimus, to Optimus. He has to be the leader. And you see this transition. You see him at the very start being, as I said earlier, a link between the humans and the Autobots. He tries to put everything straight. He doesn't want to fight. He just wants to let the humans know that they're on our side without causing any conflict. But he ends up falling because of his sort of compassion. he falls to the humans, and he then realises that not every human is good, and partly because of Thundercracker, in Thundercracker, not every Decepticon is bad, and not every Autobot is perfect either. And you see him grow. And these are the best stories, when you see a character grow and change. And you literally see him change, because I think at the end of Spotlight Bumblebee 4, you see him in, yeah, his new mode, which they're now making a toy of, and the toy looks a lot better than that, where he's a muscle car that actually works. And they've given him reason. Like, the muscle car in the movies was just to make him look cool, whereas in this it's because he's grown and he's bigger and he's got to be more, he's got to be louder and he's got to be more powerful than he ever was before, which a muscle car really fits. And also his design works. It's blocky. I like blocky. So that's it for the comic books. Actually, no, Regeneration 1. I won't go into too much detail because it's quite hard to, but it's really good. I'm really enjoying it, but they're quite sparsely released, so I have to wait a bit. Cartoons. I will be right back. 1 second. There we go. Right. Sorry. My face was getting a bit too white, too pale. So the comic books. Comic books, cartoons. This is going to have to be really cut down. It's just going to be what I've seen, basically, and what I've thought, because I can't go into much detail as I have everything else. I started on Beast Wars, but I can't remember much of it because I was like 1. I just remember it. I've gone back and watched it and thought that it's surprisingly boring, from what most people say. Just nothing grabbed me about it. Although I do like Primal's design. That's it. There was no one else in that continuity I like the design of. Actually, no, Tigerhawk. Just go on that Tigerhawk. That's it. But the first one I really got into was Armada. I love the show, and I still do. Partly because anime, because it's sort of a half anime, half cartoon. It was worked on by a Japanese and an American studio. Works really well. Because there aren't many humans, I don't like how humans look in most animes. There's a couple of exceptions like Iron Man anime and Blade anime, but this is one of them. But also you don't see much of them. It's mostly about the robots, and robots in anime look amazing. They always do, and they do in this. Also, I really like the characters. They are really interesting. Although it is more aimed at a child audience than some of the others. It does have some serious things in. And also it's Unicron. It's based around Unicron, and who doesn't love Unicron? I would also say, partly because Gary Chalk, I think he did Beast Wars as well, but I prefer his Optimus Prime over Peter Collins. He has the right mix between being robotic and being organic. He sounds like a more humanic? Is that a word? A more human-like robot. More organic. I like that. I do like the design so that the toys are rubbish. Energon, I didn't watch much of Energon, got bored. Didn't watch much of Cybertron. I got bored and got confused, although I really like the toys from Cybertron. I haven't got many, but I like them. Then I went back and watched Transformers G1 Season 1, and I loved it. I'm now watching G1 Season 2, and not loving it as much, but I think in like the second part of it, it gets a lot better. And it is starting to get a bit better. Season 2, right, that's Season 2. I've seen the G1 movie, and that is amazing. I love that thing. And I love the cast it sets up. Springer, Rodimus, or Hot Rod, and Cup, Cup I love. And Brett Gar, and Ultra Magnus, they're all good. And it is nice in one of the comic books I've read, I can't remember which, they all come together. it's really awesome to see Springer and Cup and Hot Rod with, you know, Sideswipe and Sunshaker and Optimus and all the old ones, which is awesome. After Cybertron, there was Animated. Really didn't like Animated. I didn't like the way it looked. I liked the theme song. Actually, that's one thing I love about Armada. The Armada theme song is awesome. Didn't like Animated. Didn't like the toys at all. Although I like Swindle and we'll probably get him. Oh, I did like Megatron, which I have up there, and I also like Shockwave, which I haven't got yet. That's it. Prime, I really hate Prime. I don't know whether it's just because it's CG, and I'm not too keen on CG for most things. I think Iron Man Armored Adventures works. Beware the Batman might. There aren't many. I like 2D cartoons, they're a bit easier on the eye to watch. I don't like the designs of the characters. I really don't like the design of Wheeljack. I think it's horrible. He's more of a warrior. I like him as the funny engineer. And I don't like the toys. I think the toys are really bad. I think they're really hollow. Really expensive for not much, really small. And also, some of them have quite well designed, but not well implemented, if that works well, if that is understandable. Like they have some really good ideas, like Ratchet's arms are good. The idea is really good, but it just doesn't, for me, work with him for aesthetic. I think if you use that same sort of transformation with a different look, it would work really well. Because if you're trying to make it look blocky, that would be awesome, but they didn't. They tried to make it look angled and sleek, which doesn't always work. Have I missed anything? No. Oh yeah, Beast Wars and Beast Machines didn't really like. G2 I haven't seen, but I've heard it's really bad. I haven't seen any of the Japanese series at all. Apparently the Japanese version of RID is good. I haven't watched the US RID either. I probably should, seeing as, what was it, Neil Kaplan? Oh, I can't remember his name. He's really bad, and you know I feel ashamed for it. But the voice of the RID Optimus Prime is going to be at AA 2013, so I should probably watch some of it. Anyway, yeah, that's my experience with Transformers, the franchise, with the fiction. I have mentioned the toys because the toys do make up a part of it, but mainly the fiction. I'd like to know, the few people who do watch and do comment, what you watch and what you like and your experience with the Transformers as a franchise. Preferably video responses, because I would happily sit through like 20-minute videos of people talking about Transformers fiction. I like that. I also like plastic, but you know, it's nice to have a bit of a deviant from that. So yes, your responses?